In one of the dumbest recent cases I've seen of cancel culture, even though that term has been used to all hell and completely oversaturated, in this case, it applies decently well. A big streamer called NickMercs, who mainly just streams video games, got his sponsorships taken away for saying this: they should leave little children alone. That's the real issue. And because of that, he got his sponsorships taken away. But to be in the best good faith possible, let me give some context behind the situation and show why people are so angry at realistically a very normal stance that I don't know how anyone would disagree with. The tweet NickMercs said was in reply to this tweet where someone was posting anti-LGBT protesters attack pro-LGBT demonstrators outside of a Glendale, California school board meeting. The school board is voting on recognizing June as Pride Month. And as you could see in this video, it's kind of just chaotic, nothing, you can't really make out much to get the full context. We kind of just have to take this random guy's word on Twitter that apparently some people were just demonstrating pro-LGBT things, like raising a flag or whatever, or just outside saying Pride Month, celebrating or whatever, and randomly some evil parents and protesters came in and started beating the ever-living shit out of these random innocent people, which is a very black and white narrative that I assume there's more nuance and context to, because there always is. But this guy says, this happened 4 blocks from my Overwatch League apartment. Americans are in a sad place right now. Let people love who they love and live your own life. And as we know, NickMercs replied saying, let's just leave the little children alone. Which, to be 100% fair, I did see some tweets calling him out for this and how this could be an ignorant stance, and it's alluding to something that could be perceived as hateful if I'm being 100% good faith to the other side here. Like saying, you know what, they should just leave the little children alone is alluding a lot, and it's a loaded statement when you say that about people who are celebrating pro-LGBT things, because it's implying that everyone in the LGBT community is just targeting kids and attacking kids, when realistically it's more nuanced than that. Just how the protesters in this situation probably have more of a nuanced stance and they're not just evil people. Pro-LGBT people and people of that community aren't evil as well. So seeing this vague loaded statement by NickMercs of just saying they should just leave the little children alone, that's the real issue. I can understand how people can perceive that as being ignorant, but that's all. That's where it starts and ends. This isn't a hateful statement. You'd have to be reaching so hard to try to paint this guy as an anti-LGBT community person. Because especially it's been a real big hot button issue for not only people online, but also normies in the real life that are parents and have their kids going through the school system, and they don't want their 5th grader, their 4th grader, their 1st grader to be learning about all this LGBT shit in an insidious manner. Now, of course, there's a good way to implement LGBT things in a subtle way that isn't forcing it down kids' throats and just acknowledging that, hey, you know what, there are gay people that exist, there are lesbian people, and this is a thing that happens, and there's a way to go about that with just acknowledging it but not pushing it down kids' throats. And it's a completely understandable stance for a parent to have the position that, hey, I just want to tell my kids about all of this LGBT stuff. I don't feel like it's necessary for the school system to have this in the education program, and that's completely understandable. And that's, at the end of the day, as we're gonna see as NickMercs expands on his position, that's all he said. But with how crazy fucking online culture has become, where unironically, if you just hold a couple conservative leaning positions, then automatically you get your shit pulled. Call of Duty, which is one of the main games he plays on stream, they removed NickMercs' operator skin after his statement regarding an LGBTQ protest. The Call of Duty Twitter account put out this tweet saying, due to recent events, we've removed the NickMercs operator bundle from the Modern Warfare 2 and Warfare store. We are focused on celebrating Pride with our employees and our community. So this guy had a sponsorship deal with Call of Duty and got that shit ripped for just this comment. That's insane. And to be honest, it only just does a huge disservice to the whole Pride movement and kind of the whole LGBT community. Because if you try to paint out very reasonable and normal positions as crazy bigoted ones, you lose the whole crowd. Like if you show a normal neutral person this tweet and tell them that this guy lost a sponsorship because of this and is realistically getting canceled for just saying this comment, you're gonna lose 99% of humanity. No one's gonna be on your side, and you just make the community that you're trying to defend and protect and celebrate, you make them look 10 times worse and more insane to the normal person in society. And let me show you guys this clip of NickMercs expanding on his position, saying, no, I'm not a hateful dude, I just made this comment as like a newfound father that I personally want to teach my kids about this stuff and I don't feel like it belongs in a school system. And he comes across as a very rational, reasonable, and understandable normal guy, but you try to paint out this guy to be some bigot and you lose the whole crowd.
Okay, I saw parents brawling in front of a fucking school with kids. I just didn't fucking like it. Sure, a lot of you guys can understand how that video would piss some people off. It pissed me off. Okay. Now my wife and I just had a baby. Brand new father. You know, we seeing these kinds of videos. It's sad. But her and I agree that we want to be the ones to talk to our kid about things like that. I just don't think it's any place for a teacher or a school. I don't think it's the place to speak about things like that. And it's not that I think that it shouldn't be spoken about. If that's what you got from that tweet, then you're just wrong. It wasn't an anti, I guess, gay tweet. Now, listen, if you have issues with me or if you have issues with that tweet, then hey, listen, I'm down to agree to disagree.
Also remember too, this guy NickMercs, in comparison to the average citizen in America, this guy is way more left-leaning and progressive than the average guy in America, let alone other countries where, Jesus Christ, if you say this kind of shit in China or fucking Russia or realistically any other country, they're gonna hold that exact position, if not be more extreme than his. Like, look at this unhinged tweet talking about the situation. Caseytron says, didn't mean to hurt anybody. Shut the fuck up. This kind of rhetoric is literally what's getting LGBTQ plus people assaulted and killed. Can they fucking save their victimizing and sob stories? Holy fuck. It's Pride Month. These people. Hey man, if you really think you're the one who's coming out looking sane here and seeming like the rational person, especially after watching that clip from NickMercs, you're fucking your whole movement. Like, you're doing it all to yourself. You're setting yourself back. And of course, resident dipshit Hasan Piker had to give his take on this whole situation, just making a weird comment on how he's playing a gayer game now, Apex Legends, than Call of Duty. Good commentary, bro.
That's the other thing. Like, Nick's playing Apex. Apex is even gayer than Call of Duty. Call of Duty is like more fucking... Call of Duty in and of itself is like more fucking hoorah, American imperialism, blah, 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 all this shit. Apex is so fucking gay. You have to suck a dick to get better at it, okay?
This is the biggest politics streamer in the world, by the way. Just a reminder. But other big streamers like Dr. Disrespect were coming out in defense of NickMercs, which was good to see, saying who's running Call of Duty PR and marketing now? Same people from the Purple Snakes, which he means Twitch. Pathetic. And he even goes on stream to uninstall Call of Duty, standing in solidarity, so to speak, to try to boycott Call of Duty for this dumbass decision.
What we gotta do is uninstall the game. Number one. I mean, don't get a mistake, in this year's Call of Duty is the worst in its franchise. But that decision by COD's PR marketing team, I'll tell you right now, man, that's a tough one. That's a tough one to digest. I feel like A, they either need to apologize publicly to him or reinstate his bundle in order for me to consider playing Call of Duty again.
And after seeing this clip, what does Hasan have to say about this? Maybe he'll actually give some arguments or some good commentary. I'm sure he will. He always does.
Yes, he is more loyal to... He's more loyal to NickMercs having his skin than his own wife. I know, yes.
But even though this whole situation was bullshit that he got his sponsorships taken away for this, it's good to see that a lot of people were coming out in support of him. Which, as I said, yeah, if you try to paint out normal positions and normal people to look like the crazy ones, you're losing the whole grander audience in the grand scheme of things. Where NickMercs put out another tweet saying, friends are created in good times, but families are built through adversity. Appreciate all of you that have my back, understand my position as a new father, and recognize the love that I have for all. Ain't no hate in this heart, peace and love. And lastly, we gotta cover known retard on the channel, Jalen's position about all of this, where of course, she says massive W, congratulating and celebrating that NickMercs got his sponsorships taken away for this, which is so funny and ironic because this is Jalen of all people, right? She's celebrating fucking cancel culture, where if we take a look at your past, Jalen, you have done 10 times more deplorable shit than anything NickMercs can even dream of doing. Imagine what the sponsorships are gonna say when they take a look to your past of seeing the multiple clips of you screaming the N-word at black people. Like, you're celebrating, like, already you have a retarded opinion about this whole situation, but you're celebrating the same culture that eventually is gonna fuck you over. And you know, I bet that's the case for all the people who's celebrating this decision. Because if we take a look at your past, I guarantee that you've said 10 times worse things than what NickMercs has in this situation, which got his sponsorships taken away. So all of you celebrating the same culture, I guarantee you have worse skeletons in your closet. But that's just how it is. Yeah, but that's all for this situation. See you guys tomorrow.